I'm Micah Chair from Lux Blox, and this is a tutorial on drawing. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm bringing you down to the basics, and here we go. I'm going to show you how to draw through doodling and play by using your hand the way it was meant to be used. So your hand wants to make these marks, these squiggly marks a child with crayons, like a young child, can make, okay? Because a kid knows that they can do this with their fingers and they can do that from their elbow. Okay, so we're going to start with a line that was discovered in art millennia ago, thousands of years ago, called the S. And so what I do is I show you how to make an S like that. It's a very simple hook with a hook like that. But the beautiful thing about the S's is that when you put them together, when you put these S's together, they create an illusion of form, of three-dimensionality. Your eye wants to follow this like rope-like pattern, and your fingers really want to do this pattern. It's actually really fun to make. It's like making braids in hair. It's just what the material wants to do, what your knuckles want to do, what the pen wants to do. This is the most natural line you really can make because it's the line found in nature, okay? It's the line of the helix. And it's beautiful. Beautiful doesn't have to be a really complicated work of art. Beauty could be just a really well-drawn, beautiful, fast line, okay? And so we're going to start with the S and show you what you could do with the S. So if I make a little lemon shape like this, and this is something I taught kids, like I said, in the inner city of Chicago, that were very insecure about drawing. And the rule was this, is a simple little algorithm. I say you're going to take this little shape here, this S, and the rule is this, when you go from left to right, you're going to hug the bottom, loop over the top, and stop. Don't go all the way to the next egg over here, or lemon, and then do the same thing here. Loop under, and then hook over and stop. Hug the bottom, loop over, and stop. Okay? And then coming from right to left, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to hug the top, loop under the bottom, and stop. Hug the top, loop under the bottom, and stop. Hug the top, loop under the bottom, and then stop. Or you can loop it all the way around. And here too. And this is a very ancient pattern that we see in Mycenaean and in Greek art that goes way, way back, okay? Again, it's the illusion of a twisted braid or rope or piece of dough, okay? And to look at a piece of dough that comes out of the oven, like some kind of a pastry, and draw it might be very difficult. But any little kid learning this little algorithm, okay, will be able to just say, oh, the trick is this. You just hug the bottom, loop over the top, and stop, right? Then you hug the top, loop under the bottom, and stop. And these algorithms in art came about through, I think, commercial enterprise because it was much more cost effective to have kids working in a studio, like a pottery studio, than all adults. And so maybe the adults would throw the giant jars in the pottery studio, right? But those jars were kind of boring by themselves. If you can put around them designs, put the jar back on the wheel again with a simple little stylus, maybe a little blade, and then have a kid sitting there and drawing over and over again on that pot, these beautiful designs as the pot slowly went around, and then cook it in a kiln, it would be a beautiful thing and sell for more money. So here is another one. So we did this pattern. Another one is this. You make a check mark like that, a Z, right? And then you put one right next to it, and one right next to it, and right next to it. Kind of looks like stairs. So we're creating these illusions, okay? And the nice thing about these illusions is, it's called the perspective of overlap. If I have some circles here, okay, they look like circles. So who's here? Oh man, Tim Brzezinski's here. He's like the math guy from the East Coast. Awesome. Good to see you, Tim, and Tony, and Akashi. So if you take the same circle, and then you add a C to it, and another C, and a C, and a C, you're creating the illusion of overlap, the perspective of overlap, okay? Your eye wants to see this circle here, but it's not. But through experience of being alive. Remember the peekaboo game when you were a little kid and they'd say peekaboo and you put your hands in front of your face and the kid would think you actually disappeared. Okay, but after a while the kid realizes your face didn't disappear. Actually, it was behind your hands, okay? Well, this is what we learned from the peekaboo game, that there is something behind here, though we know there really isn't, okay? So you create that illusion in art. And it's a really powerful illusion, okay? It didn't come about right away. It developed in art. So we can have the C rule being applied to something like an arthropod, right? And you see how these segments all look like they're kind of overlapped, right? But all I'm doing is using these C shapes, but I'm connecting them, right? And then for the leg here, I could do the same thing. It says, if you've ever been lucky enough to eat crab, you know how these little guys go. They're kind of like C shapes that are inside of each other. And the last one's really fun because you can make a shape like this, like a leaf, but then you make a claw coming out of it, right? And it's awesome. So again, this isn't hard to do, and it gives a kid, or an adult kid, the feeling that they're making something pretty sophisticated looking, but it's just a simple rule. You're basically making a C, and then making a C, and then making a C, and it creates the illusion that one thing is coming out of another thing, okay? And that's a lot of fun, and what the Italians did later on, there was a big business in making pictures of people, a huge business, whether it was illustrations or paintings on walls, and the studios in Renaissance Italy became very big and very busy. And the way to keep up with all of the demand was to teach kids how to draw, especially in Bologna in the late Renaissance, the Carracci family, there were these brothers, Agostino and Ludovico, they wanted to make a school of art to train the kids, and so they came up with these techniques, and one of them was this. Remember the C rule? So the illusion, you have the illusion of one thing being in front of the other. Well, how do you render that into a face? And they came up with this trick. So you remember the scorpion I just made? That scorpion here with the thing like that, the scorpion, right? Well, they took that form, that scorpion form, right? And they said we can apply that to the face. We can take this form here, a C with a loop, come underneath here like this, and make a nose. And this became the way they taught kids how to make noses and do it the other way. This is a very powerful little trick because what it's doing is it's using that rule. We know the wing of the nose is in front of the ball of the nose, right? The wing, the side of the nose, is in front, when you're looking at a profile view, of the ball, right? But we don't have to draw a ball and a wing and that. We don't have to do that because the illusion works, okay? And so all of a sudden, these Italians are creating lots of little art apprentices because they can teach them these tricks. And then underneath here, you do C, 3, C, and a chin. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. That's where that term comes from. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. It's an Italian term that means, and that's how you do the mouth, okay? And then you put the eye here. You have the overlap. You have the upper lid, and then the upper lid goes over the lower lid, and you make a little C for the eye, a C, okay? And then the throat goes there, and if you want to throw in an ear, why not? We'll talk about an ear in a second. That's where the ear goes, and you throw some hair there. And that's how you do it. And the important thing is don't get hung up on making it beautiful. In fact, Leonardo said, make them ugly on purpose. Have fun with the caricature. Have fun with giving the person an extreme lower underbite or overbite and make the eyes too big, right? That looks funny. And so you could have fun with this. It's important because then you loosen up, you stay loose. It's important to not clench up and become afraid of being imperfect because let's face it, we're imperfect, but we can have fun with that. The slop is important. We want to move from slop to beauty. If you want to go right to beauty, then you're going to have a problem. So again, have fun. You can do a hook nose with an extreme angled forehead. Give them an overbite or an underbite. Right? Make the eyes too big or too small. Make the ears ridiculously large if you want. We'll talk about the ears next. Or a cute little pug nose, adorable, right? Bada bing, it's the C, 3, C, bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. And then you put the I, right? And then you put, and then what they taught the kids was, in terms of the idea of there's perspective, like we just talked about, the illusion of one thing being in front of the other. And then there's the idea of proportion, of things being the right size. Well, there's tricks around that too. The human skull is about like an egg, okay? It's like the number 9, but with a really short stick, okay? That's basically the outline of a skull in profile. All you do is come to the bottom of this egg and make a gentle arc like that for the lower part of the jaw. Then in the middle of that, put where the throat goes, it goes back. The throat doesn't go straight down, it goes back a bit. And then the neck comes back here and goes back this way. To create that illusion of a neck, which is a cylinder, and we'll talk about cylinders next week, make a C here so it looks kind of round. Now, where does everything go? Where does the nose go? That's the most important thing, right? It goes, you line up the bottom of the egg and come straight across and make that 4 shape right there. See that 4? That's where the nose goes. You put that nose we just learned right there. Bam, right there like that. And then you put the C, 3, C, chin, bada bing, bada bang, bada boom right there. And then you put your eye right here. The eye, now, if you did it right, which I know you did, that eye should be, fractionally speaking, about, what do you think that is? Can anybody guess what fraction that is? People are watching, people are listening. Does anybody know? Yeah, the nose knows. Yeah, okay. Yeah, very good, Akashi. So that is 1/2. The eye is in the middle of the head. Okay, everyone thinks the eyes are up here for some reason. We all think that because we always focus on the face, but really we really have actually really big brains. So the eye should be there, and then use the C rule to make things like the bangs. Make a little squishy thing right here so that the girl can have all her hair go up into that. So hair should make sense. The hair is not chaos. Then you can make beautiful S's for her ponytail, and the ear would go right by the jaw, by the end of the jaw here. The ear would go here, right? Have some errant hairs here. Okay. I'm going to do that again real quick. I'm going to do the other way now. I make a 9. Okay. I make the arc here, the neck, and then that's where the nose goes, right? A horizontal line to make that backwards 4 there. And this time I'll make the nose a little bit bigger, right? And then C, backward 3, chin, bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. And then I'll make the eye. I'm exaggerating all the features here. And then I make above the eye, I make a little C shape, and I make the eyebrow, okay? And then I'm gonna make the ear, and this ear I'm gonna make scary. I'm gonna make it kind of pointy here and come down like that. Make it, and see, this is how I make ears. I'll show you how to make ears in a second here. Okay, what is this guy? So ears are pretty simple. An ear goes like this. You have a big C with a hook. I'll do it this way so you can see it too. A C with a hook, right? It's shaped like that. And then inside of that is another C, like a question mark. I call it the fancy backward question mark. Okay? It's like a question mark. So it's like a C with a hook with a question mark inside of it. Okay? Because this folded skin is actually really complicated folded skin, which we don't want to get into. But this is shorthand, okay? Then here, what I put a little thing like that because inside of the ear is a tubular Y. What? Yeah, inside of the ear is a tubular Y. It's crazy. If it's not, you might not be, from Earth. So inside, you put the fancy backward question mark. You put a C here, and then you put this tube, this Y-shaped tube, okay? And then the last thing is this kind of Africa shape. There's like a shape like Africa inside your ear right here. And that's a nice shorthand for ears, okay? So one more time, we're gonna do it, and then we're gonna cut out here for today. So I got you started with these kinds of lines here. Then we did C's and the rule of proportion with overlap, and we're ending with, in the Renaissance, with how they taught kids how to do profile faces. So I did a 9, and I made a 4, and then I put the nose goes there, and then you make the C, this backwards 3, backwards C, and then a chin, come up into the jawline there, and then your nose goes right, your eye goes right here, right where the bend of that nose is, right back a little bit, go like this and like that, boom, boom, and then you could add the lid if you want right there, and then make a little crescent shape for the eye. Come above that eyelid with a little C shape, and then put in this shape for the eyebrow. Back here, you put in your ear. Don't worry about proportion. The scale of things relative to each other, that's not important, okay? And at first, and then put in your hair. And you could do hair any way you want. But the important thing is you should be loose with your hand and make fast lines at first. Don't go slow, go fast, okay? This is doodling, you're going sloppy on purpose. So that's enough time for this today. I wanted to give you an overview of the first couple lessons that we offer for free at our website, luxblox.com, if you go to Lux Corner. And we'll be doing this every Thursday at 3 o'clock. So next week we're going to be covering, believe it or not, we're going to jump right into human anatomy. I'm going to show you how to make the human body, which again, believe it or not, was those rules that people like Leonardo and Michelangelo came up with. They used the S rule to actually figure out ways to design the human body. Okay, so even kids could learn how to do it. They weren't teachers in the sense we know of teachers today. They needed kids to actually do work for them. The kids were actually a part of the economy of that society, it wasn't just to learn in school, which I think is kind of awesome. So next week we'll learn about how muscles work, how bones work, and how we put the whole human body together in the shorthand of the Italian Renaissance. And this is Mike from Lux Blox. Check us out at luxblox.com, and see you next week.